tonight's meeting of the Armada Village Council. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll do a roll call.
Shaw.
Here.
Clark.
Here.
Conan.
Here.
Adair. Duffy.
Here.
Barzick. Here. And Sturrock.
Here.
You've had a chance to review the agenda. Can we have a motion to approve it or change it?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Support.
Was that you, Mike?
Yes.
Like
Clark and Shaw.
Black.
All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Do we have any citizens' comments?
That would be me. Hello, my name is Diane Heinzelman, and my mom is Nettie Eskin, and she lives on Simon Street. And I am here tonight in support of your agenda item that's going to discuss the paving project, specifically the extension of that project that would go to my mom's driveway. So I just wanted you to know that Mom has been a homeowner and taxpayer and resident since 1974. And that means that she's lived in this close-knit community for over 50 years. And she now proudly says, gee, that's more than half my life. Mom really works at her mobility and maintaining her independence. And at the age of 96, she still gets her own mail from the mailbox. She puts out those big honkin' trash recycle bins and trash cans. And then she also still drives to get her groceries at the store. I also recognize the work of the village that you've done over the years to maintain that gravel area in front of her house, the roadway. But it's really no longer safe for her to walk to her mailbox and to navigate on that area. So it also probably gives your maintenance workers a little additional work in the winter because they do plow it and maintain that. But I close my remarks with my mom's voice of support for the paving project. And we really, I know you're going to consider that extension, and I really hope that you vote in the affirmative for that to help my mom navigate the community. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any other citizen comments? Give it.
Kevin Grand, Armada resident. The only thing I want to speak on tonight is regarding the minutes from the previous meeting. And in the minutes, it was mentioned that I stated a Supreme Court case that had supported what I was addressing. The case that I was referring to actually did not. It was a completely different case altogether. So if I can have the minutes changed to reflect that, that will be appreciated. Thank you.
That will be up to council. I'd have to go back and review because I always take my notes and I do it for my notes. I could have absolutely wrote it wrong. I'm not saying that I didn't, but that's up to you guys.
You could review it
And then bring it back to the next
bring
meeting.
Put it
So
on
when
the
you approve
agenda.
the consent agenda, pull those out.
Yeah, put that one in there if you would. Okay. Any other citizen comments? Being none, there's no presentations. Administrative reports. Who would like to go first?
I'll start first.
Go right ahead, Mike. I said Mike.
Yeah, one of us.
He thought it was that Mike though.
I made eye contact.
So did I.
I have three things on the agenda that we discussed on the August 19th meeting. One of them was Wyatt, which is right there. They do plating, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, the guy that is, he took over, it's called CTR Customs. He's taken over the automotive part of the business. So he came here and wanted our approval for that. I think everything's already in place. The other things, they have to have a fire inspector giving the okay on that. So that was one of the things. Then the bus garage has a new address, 747 Spencer. They needed a an address, I'm not sure why, I forget what the.
DTE.
Was it DTE, okay.
They won't do an installation without an actual physical address.
What's that address, Bob?
74730 Spencer. And then last but not least, we had a discussion on the Franklin Street Land Management Group, which is where Fritz wants to develop that land. And he really he backed us into a corner. He wanted a decision that night on his 31 homes that he had presented, like, I don't know how long ago, but we had turned him down based on our planner.
4 months ago.
January.
Yeah, in January, right. So we all voted no, and he said he'll see us again, so I'm not sure what his intentions are. We love to see it develop, something develop, and not it doesn't fit the parameter of the village in 31 homes.
Well, my understanding is that the planner gave him a list of things, and he just kind of,
Exactly.
Ignored it.
He blew it off. Yeah,
so
he didn't
it's
meet-
not that we don't want to.
Right, he didn't meet any of the requirements that the planner asked for. So, so he really backed us in the corner, I feel, unfortunately.
Mike, he's aware of that, right? That he didn't respond? I mean, you guys told him.
He is over and
Yes.
over.
Oh, he's definitely aware of
We
it.
told him, yeah. We
As long as he understands that.
yeah.
He was very adamant about them turning it down,
He wants
He knew
us
we
to
couldn't-
overrule.
that they couldn't accept it. But he pushed and pushed, and the board kept asking, why don't you come back and bring everything that we'd asked you to bring? And he just, oh, I know, but I need to know, are you gonna approve this or are you gonna reject it? So it was like, he really, like Mike said, pushed him into a corner. I don't understand. It was,
Yeah, it's just
I
gotta
knew
say
so.
no.
yeah, it was unusual.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'd love to see something better.
My turn. Are you good? You're done?
No,
Mr.
John?
Shaw?
I'm sorry. Done.
No, he was looking at me like waiting for me to talk.
I'm done.
You sure? I thought I was calling on you last time. Let's try it again, Dave. Yep, go ahead. The sewer report's in there, and just note 4.89 inches of rain that month. This would have been July. That's a lot of rain. Everything's running okay. Remember I talked to you about the generator switching over because of the fuse. Dan with F&B, I asked him about the fair. First day, somebody parked over the manhole where they do the sampling, so that was kind of a bummer, but they got that resolved, and there was no negative impact on the plant operations or the flows. And they're testing the fats, oils, and grease. So that's good. The other thing I had was, correct me if I'm wrong, if I want to scrap something, do I have to get board approval?
Depends on the value,
I don't know the value until we scrap it.
yeah.
We have those old flight pumps that are at the plant. When you guys redid the plant, they're no longer usable. We don't know if they all work. I looked online, there was only one, it wasn't even close to the same flight pump, even available. So I think it's gonna be a hard to market. I don't know if they work and I don't know how to even test them. We put them in place back in 2011. They cost about $12,500 roundabout back then each. We used zero water once they actually got up and running, and that's where we saved our money. So our water bill went from between $4,000 and $7,000 per quarter to minimum, the minimum bill. So we saved that in 2 years, and we've had it running for at least another probably 8 years plus. So you're talking a couple $100,000 you guys saved. It was a great deal. The pumps, I don't have any use for them. They switched. I'm asking, do I need to get permission to sell them?
I've had them scrap stuff down there before.
Okay,
The only thing I would ask that maybe have the guys pull the electric motors off them, scrap those separately, you'll get more money for them.
and I listened to you when you mentioned it a while back, Steve,
Okay.
and I talked to Dave Wagner today, and he said, yep, he has a guy that he can call, they can tell us how much we'll get, and how much for the copper and all that, so I can just pass it on to him, but I wanna make sure, to me, they're not of value to sell on the used market, so if I don't need permission,
Refer to the commissioner. I mean, I have had that problem too with water stuff, and to advertise, nobody's gonna bid on it, it's junk, and
Is that fine?
Why go through?
Then
the
I'll-
process? Yeah.
I hate to see them sit there for another winter and then we end up not getting anything
Say,
besides scrap value
Yeah.
anyway.
No, get them out
Do
of
what
the
you
way.
need to do, I'd say.
Yeah, get them out
It
of
served its purpose and the village saved good money with going that route, so I think I'll proceed with that, thank you.
Yeah, you bought them, so now you can scrap them.
There you
Full
go.
circle.
Yeah.
And they did, they actually, I pulled my old, saved 25%. That's what they advertised.
You have coupons.
We saved more than 25%, that's just in our water bill, not counting the electric bill that we saved, so they were a good value, I'm glad we did it.
Yeah.
It was a good communication with United Water at the time before F&B to go that route. Thank you, that's all I had.
Okay, you would like to go back? Amy?
I don't have anything to talk about till a little bit later.
Okay. Ross?
Good news is finally, we think we reported about 6 months ago and found we had a last interest and band payment. We were talking about what band means, bond anticipation note. Its bottom line is its interest on the water treatment plant. So after 20 years, we have written the checks and sent them in, or in the process of sending them in. So the water treatment plant will be paid off. People should see starting in February, that's how long it's going to take to see it on the bill. They won't get billed October, November, December, but they'll see it in February because of the process. They'll see about a $27 reduction per month for that bond payment being
Per
pulled
month
off
or
of there.
per,
It's per quarter.
per quarter?
Per quarter.
So, all right.
So $27 per quarter. Now, just a comment, that $27 per customer never got close to paying off what the cost of that facility was. But that was the debt payment that we subscribed to people.
That bond anticipation note had nothing to do with payment on the,
It was to take money out ahead of time, as I
No.
understand it.
the paperwork on the bond came very fast, very quick. We weren't ready, we hadn't collected enough money to make the first payment.
Yeah, that's my
So-
understanding.
That bond anticipation note is what we financed in advance of the actual bond.
Okay, no, that's, and thanks for the explanation. Yeah, that's my recollection.
Right.
I was advised not to make it too complicated, so.
Right over my
The
head.
bottom line is, it's paid off, right, it's gonna be paid off, and so there should be a reduction on quarterly water sewer bills. We've largely completed the required Eagle yearly sampling for 2024. It's a number of different things we do in addition to the normal testing that we do, so total trihalomethane and halioacidic acids, it's lead and copper, it's fluoride,
Bond anticipation note complicated.
nitrate, nitrite, sodium and uranium. Those are the required tests for this year. Those have all been completed. We continue to do the normal testing for water. Again, I've said it before, we got great water here. I understand it costs more than you would like, but it's very clean, it's very good water. You may not like how it tastes. There's a difference.
I drink it every day.
Me too.
I drink it every day. Yeah, if you're buying bottled water, you're causing yourself to pay extra for the water. It's very good water. Yeah, we continue to do regular arsenic and bacteriological sampling as just a part of the normal process. We expect to finish I hate to bring it up, the hydrovacing by the end of the month. The hydrovacing continues to move around because of busted equipment and scheduling issues, but by contract it needs to be done by the end of the month. Telto will be out here the last couple days of the month getting it done. And we've got 21 more holes to make to check water lines. The great news about that is we're finding that we don't have the number of lead and galvanized connections that we had thought we had. So that's great news, because what that means is down the road it'll be a lot cheaper for us to replace the lines that we do. So that's great news.
Can I ask
Get-
one question that a resident
Yeah.
asked me? When we do that project and we start
nothing in the house, and so
That's what I
the
told her.
controversial
Why are you
piece of it,
Okay, I'll check.
yeah, the controversial piece of it is the village clearly owns connections from the water main to the shut-off, which is in,
Right,
you know, in the
Right.
median usually of somebody's yard. And then they consider it a private line from that shut-off valve into the house. The state has said we will pay for replacing that to the meter, which is usually in the house. Right, you know, it's a connection immediately inside of the house. And so if we find lead, and we're not finding a lot of lead, we do find galvanized. If we find galvanized lines, we're going to replace those. It is on, you know, the cost for the village, but we're finding far fewer lines because people have changed them over the years. They galvanized lines accumulate a lot of crud in them, and they wind up downsizing themselves, and pretty soon you don't have water just because the corrosion inside of that pipe. A lot of people have changed them over the years, which is good for the village because it won't cost us. But we do have customers that do still have galvanized lines.
What about people that have meter pits?
That's an interesting question because technically I guess we would fix up to the meter pit.
where the meter is.
But
Yeah.
if we've got about 20, 25 meter pits. Meter pits are an issue and they should go away. And so we need to consider getting rid of meter pits where we have galvanized lines there. And so that's an issue that Dave Wagner and I have to talk about, whether we do those or not. Just dealing with somebody the other day who's got a meter pit. So once the hydrovacing is done, I have 3 reports I have to do for Eagle to keep them satisfied about the composition of the service lines that we have in the village. Those reports are due by the 16th of October. So I'm going to be fairly busy. Guess that's good for you guys. I won't be causing issues here in council. Water reliability and hydrological studies are starting up. We've conducted the hydrant flow and pressure testing. Everything looks good. That's good news. And I've got a list of questions from Roe to answer. So I've got to start working with Becky and Dave Wagner on answering those questions. Couple updates just on other issues. You guys know, I think most of you, that I've been working on trail connection from the Macomb Orchard Trail to Depot Street. We do have a trail easement approved by the county. All we needed was money. So I've been working some grants with my grant writer. And one of the things that we've done recently, because I'm getting ready to file another grant, is we went out and we did an RFQ to 3 local contractors, and the good news is the cost appears to be less than I was told it was going to cost. So that's good news, and we will likely get the money to support that. So just
through the grants, you will get the money to
What
support.
kind of,
yeah, we'll get the
what kind of money,
Yeah, what
part
kind
are
of
they
cost?
talking?
The figures that I'm seeing from the vendors, these are guys that do asphalt. You know, they'll dig out the underlayment and put in limestone is what they need to do, and then put asphalt on
This
top
will
of it.
just
Around
get you-
$25,000.
What, from the trail to?
This goes from the trail to Depot Street.
Right.
It's a hard stand connection. There is no direct connection between the trailhead that's down by Larry's Automotive and the trail. So people that have ambulatory issues, or walkers, wheelchairs, whatever, they can't get on that. Plus, again, the whole idea of that trailhead down there, it's in an industrial area, and you got to watch in all directions for traffic. You know, between Orchard Construction coming out, or Larry's moving cars, or the Lucky moving welding equipment, or whatever. It's just a dangerous crossing. So the idea, again, originally was to put it on close to a residential street and connect Church with Burke to the Township Park. Now you've got a linear park. That's the whole Joe Jabara thing where he was asking us to work with him on that. So the good news, I guess, if anything, is it's moving along and the cost is less than what I was told it was going to be by a guy that does trail work all the time. He said it was $40,000. That was a big gulp. It appears to be a lot less now. We're not doing anything on that. I got to see if I get any money first. But that was my promise to council: is let's get the easement. We got the easement, and then it was I'll find the money to do it.
Yeah, we never, put that in our budget.
Yeah, it's not in the budget. It needs to be funded by a grant. And just a shout out to the Armada Area Historical Society. These are ribbons that we won for stuff at the fair. I do also want to, this is another long-standing project, to get a state historical monument for the village. And we've collected all the money we need to do that, plus more. And all we need to do is get the paperwork into the state. The tough part about it is having the history correct and double checking and making sure you've got all your I's dotted and T's crossed with respect to is it actual fact or is it conjecture, right? So that's the tough part, but the money is there, and yeah, so we're going for it, and hopefully by this time next year we'll have a state historical plaque for the village. There is no state historical plaque in Armada, period. And so we would have one in the village, and then I would assume we will then work on one for the fair. It really deserves one. So just a couple other projects that they're working on. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Does that cover everybody?
No.
I'm sorry, Ann, go ahead.
In your packet, you all saw the capital improvement plan. These were the items that we met to go through this year's budget. I asked each of you to come with things you were going to foresee in the next 4 years that we would need. These are not in stone. They're your wish list. And certainly we need to talk about them. We need to, when we go through the budget for the next year, we need to sit down and say, does this still work doing this in year 3, or should we move this up? I know, Mike, you had some issues that some of the things you think need to be done sooner than we have them on there. So we need to fine tune it, but this is just to give you an idea of the items that are coming up and the cost we're anticipating. And if you notice under the street section, Amy and I have worked together with Paul from Lowe, and we put in here, we broke it into 2 phases to do the seal capping on the rest of the streets. This year, of course, we're doing first in Simons, but the next year we're proposing to do phase 1. And then the second year we would skip a year. That would hopefully give us a chance to recoup some of our funds, to get our funds built back up. And then hopefully in that 3rd year, we could complete the 2nd phase.
What does capsule streets mean?
It's kind of like Michelle refers to it as crush and grind. They dig up the
Chip seal.
road, they grind it up, they put gravel, and then they go back over it tar. They don't do
Like what's on Ridge Road, or
Right.
Huff Road.
I think they're doing it on M53 right now also. They're putting that layer, it's a huge mess right now, but that layer of gravel, and then they have this machine, and then they shoot out the asphalt all over top of it.
Right.
And, hey, I saw it. I
think
sit there
it's-
for quite a while.
I think the name for it is chip sealing, because
He
we
calls
talked,
it
yeah, they call it, everybody calls it
Crush
something
and
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, the crush and grind is,
They use the existing asphalt stuff too,
yeah,
and then put the.
Doug Skiles
stone on
told me
top.
that's different than what I was talking about, so.
Well,
But,
this method would give us smoother surfaces on the streets.
and then you just replace them as you go.
It's not gonna take care of the infrastructure below, but we don't have $16 million to do all of that.
Yeah.
So this way,
I
if
think
over
these-
the
I think
next
these will
3
Below could
years,
go a long time. time, you don't know.
But if over the next 3 years, we can at least make the streets look better and can be traveled more safely, then we can start putting money aside to handle those things as they break underneath. And I'd rather dig up a road that costs $20,000 to seal it than a road that cost us $1 million to have to dig up. So this way we can make it better, make it look better.
Revised our plan and our thinking, because we're starting to put the infrastructure outside of the road,
Right,
which
right.
made sense all along. I don't know why we never did it that way right from the beginning when we had paved streets, but.
Yes, and that's a lot simpler when you can do that.
Yeah.
And we know from First and Simons, Dave Wagner had come and told us that he drew it on the board over there, that we could go outside into the green belt if we had to add a line or fix a line.
Makes more sense than ripping up the road.
So just for everybody to be thinking about, these prices won't be in stone. I tried to nail him down, and he said that nobody would guarantee their price more than 60 days out. So when we get close to next year's budget, I'll go back to him and get an updated price, but hopefully it won't add hopefully more than maybe another 10 or 20% at the most.
Pricing is coming down, so.
That's what we were hoping to, because he told us that there's only one company anywhere around us that does this. So we're kind of hoping that they get some competition and might bring the prices down a little bit.
Well, and that we hit that 4 or 5 years ago when we tried to do Burke Street. We had a grant for it and everything.
Was that the tire?
That was the type.
Yeah, they couldn't do it,
And there wasn't a company close enough to it.
Yeah, they shut down a plant or something and then.
Couldn't do it.
I tried to get him to, we tried first to approach it, breaking it over a 3-year period. And he told me that that would add like $90,000
I was gonna say it'd be
to
cheaper
the
to do
cost.
it,
Because of the fact it's expensive for them to bring all the equipment out, all the material, and if they have to do it, obviously they'd like to do it one time, but I don't want to commit to that much at one time. So.
Has anybody been over to Romeo lately? They've been paving streets like crazy.
Romeo,
Did they pass a bond?
they did a millage.
Oh, millage,
But
okay.
according to somebody on their council that I talked to, they don't have enough to pay for that, so they're gonna have to raise the millage now.
Really?
I don't know if that's true or not, because I called them as soon as I saw it, I'm like, how'd you guys do that? Like, we need to do that. And the person that called me back implied very strongly that what they get in the millage isn't gonna pay for it all.
Okay.
Well,
And if I'm wrong, I apologize, that's what I was told, so.
Right.
That's what we're trying to avoid, is raising taxes, raising millages, taking out more bonds. We don't want to do that. So this, I think, is a feasible way to go about doing it.
It sounds like it.
I would say it sounds great. I would just encourage you, me, you to keep talking, because we want to make sure that on certain streets, the infrastructure can't be put outside of that street. So we don't want to do those and, so.
But, again, if we take a little cheaper option like we're looking at, then maybe it's something you might have to dig up at some time. Doesn't mean,
You roll the dice.
anyhow,
Okay.
moving on,
I have one more thing.
Yes, sir, thank you.
what do you have?
So we've talked about this a lot over the years, the village signage that's on each corner coming in
Yep.
to the village. And what really brought it to attention a while ago was that somebody had asked me if they could plant flowers or weed it. And I had to say it's not on our property. The ACTA was given the rights to the property. ACTA gave us the signs. We don't have that type of agreement. So Jeff and I, for a long time, have been talking about this. And what brought it to the forefront again is that the sign was missing on that side going towards Romeo. It is back. Somebody had taken it down and worked on it. But, so I had budgeted this year to get new signage to, spruce that up. Ross has jumped in with me. He prepared some letters to send out. The only thing that I need council to be aware of or to have a say in is, we have 4 spots. Jeff is gonna write up an agreement with these people, so they understand that we have the rights to go onto the property, to maintain the spot, to put signs up, whatever. We are going to not allow like churches and stuff like that anymore. We're just going to leave it village business for the most part, maybe school, but we have talked, sometimes the school signs are giant, and so there's a lot that's gonna go into this, but, I know one of them is fine, I know the other one will be fine, I'm pretty sure this one will be fine. But the one to the north is outside the village limits. It's on the township park property. It's on the other side of the house on the corner. So it's not in the village, it's on the township property. Ross has been talking to me about, we should try to get it into the village. Unfortunately, we really don't have a lot of options for that. One spot that he's particularly interested in is like by the bridge on this side of the road, kind of around where the stagecoach is that he's going to be fixing up.
He's going to repair the station?
It's gone, yeah, they took it to replace it.
Somebody volunteered to fix it.
Yeah, so, the village owns from the center of the street so many feet out.
We don't own much by that
Not
bridge, we don't own much
because
property
it's
there.
also technically township. So it's kind of a weird situation. But anyways, my point is that we have one letter that's gonna go to the 3 that we know of, and a separate letter that's gonna go to that property owner to ask them if, that we were gonna do this. I've talked to Dave about it, and, he's of the thought, well, why move the sign? And Ross is of the opinion because it's not in the village. I'm a little either way, I don't particularly care.
Anybody coming off the center doesn't see it, which
Yeah.
is half your traffic.
So, my question is, and I'm not asking for a vote on this, I have not sent these letters out yet because I'm signing them, so I wanna make sure that I have the council's blessing. Another thing that I said to Ross is, look, we can look at those wood signs, I think they're still in pretty good shape. Somebody just needs to paint them, which we have a DPW. The DPW could paint them and maintain them and urethane them so they hold up, all right? Or we can get new signage, for the village. I don't know how the poles are, I don't know if they're rotted, I have not, but I'm gonna send Dave, I just haven't, I wanna make sure that council understands what the thought process is. Because I don't wanna move the sign from out there somewhere else and then have everybody say, well, what the heck is it doing there? So I guess my first question to you guys is, and again, I'm not looking for a vote or anything, I'm just asking for your opinion. Do you want to try to move that sign? Facebook was abuzz about the stagecoach not too long ago.
Yeah, I'm afraid you're gonna interfere with that
And
stagecoach.
the homeowner, is I don't want to say defensive because it sounds like it's derogatory, I don't mean it to be, but it's like it's his stagecoach and he's had it there for years. Whether it's on village property or not, it's always been there. I don't know how many years, but it's been there for several. Or if you're fine with just leaving it where it is, and again, I'm gonna send the DPW to really look at these and tell us, are they in good enough condition to save, to paint up? Can you take them down, maybe sand them up a little bit, They're nice signs, they are, a lot of communities just have the regular street signage, thing. I'm not a big fan, I like ours because they're unique. However, if they're not repairable, then, yeah, we should probably replace it. So, I just don't know what you guys think, because I'm the one that's gonna have to deal with this letter going out, and I don't want him to think that we're saying, hey, your stagecoach is gone, we're gonna stick our sign there because it's our property, and now you have nowhere to put your stagecoach. That's what I'm afraid of.
Let me clarify on North Fulton Street. North Fulton Street, part of that street is in the township, but the county does not claim ownership, the township does not claim ownership, and I've talked to Jeff Bohorsky, Michelle and I, and Jeff has said it's up to the village to maintain that stretch of road, and the road has a 30-foot either side of the right-of-way easement to maintain. Dave Wagner and the DPW cut that grass over there, and they clean up along the guardrails and all that. So when Dave measured it, he measured about halfway into the stagecoach. Stagecoach is now gone. So all the guy's got to do, Mr. Glass, is he's just got to put the stagecoach on his property and keep it out of the easement so that the DPW can maintain whatever is there, whether there's a sign or not. DPW needs to maintain that anyway. Trim trees and all of that. And this all got started when the police department said we need to trim trees because you can't see in the signs. And we talked to the county and they said not ours, and we talked to the township and they said not ours, and
I think that's
it became the villages to manage.
Because I don't think the village stops until after Robin Terrace.
It kind of juts out.
It jets out.
Yeah, it juts out, yeah.
That's a bad map there.
Yeah, that
It's right
map
there.
isn't, yeah.
And the stagecoach is right at the edge of Robin's.
Yeah, but Joe, the point is from we have a maintenance easement from the center line of the road, 30 feet on either side, and so
Well, first,
that's the issue,
Yeah,
and
the
that's where the
township
sign
doesn't
would go.
maintain it.
do we wanna move our sign to that spot, or
That's
do you leave
basically
it?
the
I
question.
like it where it is
I
now
don't wanna
myself.
send out these letters without council's blessing, because this isn't my decision.
I'd say
It's our
move it
decision.
inside the village limits so everybody can see it. Why put a sign up there if half the people don't see it? And you have the property to put it on, which is maintained by the DPW, so.
Like, and again, that's just,
They may see it coming in from the other way.
yeah, I don't think it's gonna affect the stagecoach, I think,
Yeah.
but again, I'm also, I've
Whatever the
never asked
council
him
wants
to
here.
want,
Yeah,
you know, but I just want council's blessing before I send out the letters, because, you know, if it's a sore spot, I don't wanna argue legalities with this resident, because it's always been there. You know what I mean? So I don't wanna be the one that has to say, well, no, you gotta move it because it's our property. I don't wanna do that.
Well, and so the letter does say he could put it back there, it just says keep it out of the right of way.
No, it's not,
which we
it's
should have always
the
maintained
stagecoach has always been there.
Right, but I'm saying that not.
Well, you wanna go ahead and send your letters, I don't know
Send
that
it
we're
out and
gonna
see what he says.
decide about moving that sign yet
Well, but
tonight.
his letter is specific about putting the sign on that property. So that's why I wanted to ask before I sent it.
Yeah, I think it says we're considering, but,
Yeah.
How
If
about
we
you
give us
send out
another
three?
option, I mean,
yeah, there's other.
we have
Put the
to,
sign this side, this side.
Well, first of all, I think we have to.
First of all, you're
inspect
way
all
inside the village by the time you get further down. Like,
Yeah.
that
You know,
bridge
what's
is
the point of
wide.
having the, you know, I mean, the sign when you're already 2 blocks in or a block in.
Past the village.
Yeah, no, she said further down, not where you're talking, you know, further down. You know, you might as well put it at the park then, you know. But again, I don't, you know, I don't wanna upset the apple cart, but,
Around the corner.
well, you got houses on
I mean, if you come into town from Center Road and go up Spencer Street, you're not gonna see one of the signs either. There's
Right,
ways of
no,
coming into town
exactly,
where
that's
you
true,
don't see the
that's
sign.
true. But
But-
even the houses on the corner, I think like Roseanne's got big trees right
Yeah.
there, you know, I mean,
I don't think Rosette's gonna want a sign, right?
no,
No.
probably not.
What do you need from us tonight?
I just need you guys to tell me if you're gonna, if you're comfortable with me sending this particular letter out.
What's this letter for?
This is for that homeowner.
It just advises him
Just
that,
Are we talking about,
You're talking about Chris Wallace, you're talking about up here.
you wanna put that's putting the sign by the bridge?
Yes, that would be putting the sign by the bridge.
it's
Is
just,
that
gives us
what-
an option, I mean, if he has no problem, we have another option.
I guess you can send the letter, it doesn't mean we're gonna do it.
Okay,
Right.
well then
Yeah.
we'll feel the waters, and again, I don't wanna end up on Facebook as somebody that sent out the letter and,
You're gonna get there
this.
anyhow.
You know, and it's like, this
You'll be on
isn't,
it.
I'm going to put the village council
Even you
supports
got on
this,
it.
so I don't wanna be the
I
one
don't
that
even know what I
gets,
did, so.
you know, that gets, like, and I'm not looking
It's a
at.
nice letter, it's not, and it's just,
It is, I just wanted everybody aware
Okay.
that that was what we were doing.
You also,
If he objects, then we'll just leave it where it is.
send the letter,
Okay.
let's move on here. Now we go to the consent agenda. That was the end of our report, our administrative reports, right?
Yes.
We're going good till you got rolling.
Hey, I was not the longest.
Hey, I think it was you this time. I'm not picking on Ross this time, I'm picking on you.
Whatever.
Anyhow, Frank, you have a chance to review the consent agenda with the payment of bills, the approval of the minutes, and the special event permit.
We're gonna pull the minutes,
All the
right?
minutes, so it's as amended.
So,
So,
I will motion to approve the consent agenda with pulling the,
No, you don't have to say that, just as amended.
oh, as amended, okay.
Yep.
Support.
all in favor?
Aye.
The minutes.
So where are we putting the minutes?
We're not, we're just pulling them and we'll approve them at the next meeting.
Okay. No old business, new business.
Oh, you need a vote. Did everybody consent?
Yeah, we already said that.
Did you say all?
Yeah,
this?
we-
Okay.
Didn't we?
Yep.
No.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye. I thought I did.
Now we got it back. Okay,
Maybe I was thinking of the
We're in the wrong
call
part.
to order.
no old business. Moving on to new business. Correction to the Simon Street scope of work. Amy, that's you?
It's me. Okay, so as you all know, the village has awarded the bid to Telto Excavating for the asphalt paving of Simon Street from Barrows to Maine, based on the design that Rowe Professional Services, as designed and awarded. The project scope does not include paving of an existing 12-foot wide gravel road constructed in the Simon Street right-of-way from Barrows to a single-family residence commonly known as 74325 Simon Street. Telto Excavating is initiating a project start date of September 20th, 2024. The daughter of the owner of 74325 Simon Street recently contacted the village clerk to inquire whether the 12-foot wide gravel road would be paved as part of the project. The village clerk made inquiry to Rowe Professional Services and confirmed that the paving of this gravel road was excluded from the project scope. I followed up with Rowe Professional Services to request a cost estimate associated with the change order that would pave the 12-foot gravel road from Barrow Street to 74325 Simon Street and provide access to the private driveway for this residence. As indicated in the attached cost estimate compiled by Rowe Professional Services, it will cost the village approximately $20,000 to complete the asphalt paving of the 12-foot wide gravel road as extension of Simon Street. It should be noted that Rowe Professional Services is indicating that the costs associated with this amendment to the project scope is not eligible for grant funding and must be paid 100% by the village.
You know, we get 251 money for that though, don't we?
Yeah, Act 51.
Act 51.
Yes, we do. Well, she's not gonna let her read the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yes, we do. In order to officiate an amendment to the project scope to accomplish the paving of Simon Street from Barrow Street to 74325 Simon Street, a change order will need to be prepared and approved by me and Telto Excavating Company based on cost quoted by the contractor. In order to avoid having to bring the change order back to the village council again for review and approval, recommendation is being made to authorize the street administrator to execute the change order in the amount not to exceed $20,000 based upon the attached estimate from Rowe Professional Services.
So as Dave asked, this Act 51, it is part of Act 51, it's right on the map. So street tax has been paid on it, we've gotten Act 51 money for it.
How much do we get? I mean, we say this,
I
but do we
don't-
know what?
I
That
don't know
little strip
what that
does
little
for us?
strip does, but when your sister, I believe, when Lori came, I was glad she did, because it was perfect timing, so, for us to ask the question, because they were under the understanding from the former, I'm not gonna throw anybody on, but when Chris was here, and Roe went out there to look at it, they're like, you know, it's a driveway. Well, I understand why they looked at that and thought it was, but it is on the Act 51 map. And it's just gonna be, I understand how that happened, but unfortunately, I mean, my opinion is we gotta make it right, we gotta do it, but that's my opinion, so.
Amy, do you wanna make a motion?
I do.
Just before we do, can I just point out too that Mrs. Eskin has been paying municipal street tax for, did you say 57 years?
50 years. 50.
50 years, and that's quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
So you just need to keep that in mind.
And the budget amendment, we're not doing at this meeting,
We
right?
will do it at the next
Yeah,
one.
so we're gonna do a budget amendment next meeting, so. Okay.
And one of the reasons that it's gonna be somewhat narrower, there are a lot of mature
Mature
trees
trees.
along there, and they would be getting into the roots of those and probably killing those trees.
Well, and
I was just
add to
thinking
the
as
cost.
wide.
Yeah, it would add, yeah,
Yeah.
it would add to the cost.
So that's why it's gonna be a little narrow.
Yes.
Yeah,
So it's actually village property.
it's
We're
village
getting at
road,
51.
yeah, it's
Village
village
road.
road,
So,
yeah.
The homeowner's happy with this at the end of the day, right?
Oh,
This
of
is
course.
exactly what
Yeah.
she wants.
Well, at least the
Seems like a little
homeowner's
bit
daughter
narrower.
is.
Well,
That's
it
fine.
is what it is. It costs too much money to dig up all those trees or the
Yeah.
roots or, and
The other-
it's one person accessing that area, you know, besides the DPW.
It could possibly
so.
be two, because there is another
There's another lot.
property that's on the other
But it would
side.
end at,
But if that gets developed in the future, then that would, because when I asked Paul, Paul's like, well, usually, if it's just benefiting one person, they have to pay for it. And I'm thinking, no, that's not, that doesn't seem right. Not here. I don't think, yeah.
Right.
So if that property sells or if it gets developed, well, then that'll be something that we have to look at again later. But yeah, I mean, the trees, the mature trees, by the time you tear those out, that would add the cost way up.
And fire, garbage trucks are fine getting down a 12-foot road?
Yes,
Yeah.
They're fine right now?
because they're doing it now.
yeah.
When she hauls those big honking
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
I Googled Earth it and I could see the garbage cans and the
Yeah,
mailbox.
that's it, yeah.
It's all there.
All right,
Yeah, I
ready?
think Amy's gonna make a motion there.
I authorize the village street, I move to authorize the village street administrator to execute a change order at a cost not to exceed $20,000 to amend the project scope for the Simon Street asphalt paving project to include the paving of a 12-foot wide gravel road from Barrel Street to 74325 Simon Street.
That does need to be done. Amy and I talked about that. Okay.
Support.
Okay, motion by
Barzak.
Barzak,
Did you second,
supported
Ross?
by Belkey. You wanna call the roll, please?
Yep. Barzak,
Yes.
Belkey,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Sturut,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Conan,
Yes,
Adair.
yes.
motion's approved.
So you'll call your sister, I don't have to call her, right, because I got her number to call her tomorrow.
I'll take care of that, his mom too.
Okay.
Thank you tremendously.
All right.
Thanks for bringing it to our attention.
Yeah, I'm glad the timing could not have been better.
Okay, next, we have, item B, wastewater treatment plant
I think she's got a
installation.
secondary.
No, we're not doing that till the next one.
I'm sorry,
The budget amendment.
That's
we're doing
coming
at the next
yeah,
one.
she
Yeah,
said
that's
we'll do that next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
Can I go?
go ahead, Mike.
All right. So there's one other thing at the wastewater treatment plant we need to get done. It's in fluent flow meter. If anybody's been out there, this is the old grit room. It goes below ground level. You have to take stairs, and there's a pump and an electrical outlet all below ground level. This has flooded before and has shorted out. The pumps have been underwater, which they had to get dried out and whatever spun or whatever you do with electrical stuff. So this is going to fix it. They're going to raise it up and also raise the outlet box. Should have been done 15 years ago, never did, and I'm bringing it to you. It was in the budget for, I think, $7,000 some dollars. Correct me if I'm wrong, around $7,000. We got a bid here, a low bid at $3,500, and Kat at F&B is making that recommendation. Any questions? I'd be happy to go in a lot of detail if you want, but I don't think anybody does.
I think you can make your motion.
Okay, let me find that motion. Resolve to approve Obeyer Instrument Company estimate number 1044 in the amount of $3,500 for replacement of influent flow meter, which includes relocation of the electrical junction box.
Support.
Will you give that? Clark?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, roll call, please.
Stewart,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Adair,
Yes.
Delphi,
Yes.
Garza, Conan,
Yes.
Shaw.
Yes.
Okay.
Mike, is there something you have to sign for that?
This one does not say I need to sign it.
Okay.
I did look for that because the last one I did.
Yeah,
This one
okay.
does not say it.
Alright, perfect.
So upcoming agenda items? Well, we have that,
Budget amendments.
Budget amendment.
possible change to the, minutes.
Well, we'll bring the minutes back
Yeah,
for approval.
okay.
That budget amendment will also include the repairs on the dump truck. We had an estimate from Larry, but I didn't want to go ahead and do the budget amendment until we had it final.
Yeah, we gotta wait till we have
And
the
he should
final.
have that this week, so.
Okay. Moving on then. Do we have any more citizen comments?
Our family wants to thank you again. We understand how difficult
When you
this
comment,
is.
you have to stand up and identify yourself.
I'm Diane Heinzelman, and truly our family wants to thank you for taking care of one of your own, and as I was told today, she's a jewel of the community, so we feel that way too. So thank you.
Good seeing you, Diane.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Any other citizen comments? Okay, any council comments? Okay, community events.
Wow, none.
Yeah. So,
That's not
and we have no closed sessions.
No, it's probably before the,
Yeah, but that's not till,
it's in September.
Okay.
Might be before the next meeting.
is it in September? 'Cause,
Yes, I think so.
the first 5 games or 4 games are away. So it'll be after our September meeting anyhow.
Well, hold on, it's September 27th, yeah. Okay.
Okay, so, we have no, closed sessions. I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:53.
Support. Okay, motion by Mike and supported by Mike. All in favor of the motion? Aye. Meeting's adjourned.